Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is April the 23rd. 3 games again on the board for today. Yesterday, we did pretty good. We'll jump straight into a quick recap, and then we'll get into the 3 games for today. So let's do just that. So Brook Lopez under 11.5 points ended up being a winner. As I talked about yesterday, for people who got a chance to watch the show, he was it helped that Bobby Portis was hitting every shot that he took, but Brook Lopez didn't come back in the game after checking out in the third quarter, even though he did score the first 5 points in the first quarter to make this pretty sweaty. He finished with 8 points and then didn't touch the floor in the fourth quarter. The Memphis team total under 107.5 was another winner. If you played Lakers first quarter minus the 2, that was another winner that we talked about on the show. The only reason I didn't give it out as official play is because the number had moved by the time I was going to. It went to 2.5, which was still a winner as well. No matter what you took in the first quarter, the Lakers won and covered the first quarter in the first half as well. So some more profit. Hopefully we can keep that going. Just go through the comments really quickly, and we'll jump in to see what jaXon likes. I forgot what jaXon liked yesterday, but we'll go through it. Michael says nice hit on Memphis team total under. What up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, G Hurd. What up, Brian? Says good morning, Chris. Lakers trifecta, baby. Let's go. We needed it last night. Absolutely needed it. It's good to get back in the series. Not gonna lie, it feels good to be back in that series. What up, Hude? Appreciate you for typing in. She says bright and early. Let's get it. Good morning, helping hands. Says man, straight money last night. The big parlay. Memphis team total under Lopez points. Lopez under and job points. I like to hear that. Kurt says he cashed on Kevin Porter under his 3.5 assists. Brian says if Minnesota plays that defense again, Lakers at 5. Lakers at 5. Good morning, Andrew. Appreciate you for tapping in as well. What's up, Adam? Hope all is well with you, bro. Let's push through it today. Let's get through it. So jaXon, real quick with jaXon today. So I want to go back and see what jaXon liked yesterday. I forgot what jaXon liked. And I don't even see it. Somebody let me know. Or did I even talk about what jaXon liked? I'm not sure if I did or not. Hey, that's what it was. Hayes under 3.5 rebounds, but you called it at 2.5 for plus money on a straight. Did that cash? I'm not even sure. I got to do a better job of monitoring jaXon. I got a lot going on in life. I don't got time to watch jaXon. I would think that Jackson Hayes got the rebounds last night. Let's see. He did not. He got 1 rebound. He had 1 rebound. So jaXon cashes again. Yeah, helping hand says 1. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, 1 rebound for Jackson Hayes. So jaXon spit out another winner yesterday. I want to say that's like 3 or 4 in a row. jaXon been on fire. So today's prompt, we're going right back to it. We're going straight to the unders. That's what I've been looking for. I've been looking for unders. Asked jaXon, what are the 2 best under bets in the NBA today? 1 player prop and 1 total. So I switched it up a little bit. jaXon says best bets in the NBA today, best under bets in the NBA today. Player prop Darius Garland under his 9.5 rebounds and assists. This is interesting. Okay. It says Garland recorded just 3 rebounds and 5 assists in game 1 against the Miami Heat, totaling 8 combined. This is below the line of 9.5 set for tonight. His season average of rebounds and assists is 9.6, but the Heat's defensive schemes limit opportunities for guards to contribute in these categories. Miami's defense is designed to force perimeter players into tough shots and limit secondary stats like assists and rebounds. With Cleveland's offense running through multiple scores, Garland is unlikely to see a significant uptick in these areas. Recommendation, bet the under 9.5 rebounds and assists for Darius Garland. jaXon tells me that the best odds are on BetMGM at -125. As far as the total bet, jaXon likes the under in that same game, the Heat and the Cavs under 212. It says the game 1 total was set at 214, and the game ended with a combined 221 points. However, this is largely due to Cleveland's offensive explosion in the fourth quarter. Miami's offense has struggled, averaging just 100 points per game in their last 3 contests, including the play-in tournament. Cleveland's defense is one of the best in the league, allowing just 106.1 points per game during the regular season. The Heat's slow pace and reliance on half-court sets will likely keep the scoring low, especially if Cleveland builds an early lead. Recommendation, take the under 212 in the Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat game today. So 2 looks, 2 unders in the same game. So maybe they all kind of correlated today. All right, let's jump into it for today. And I want to preface today by saying this. I talked about yesterday doing the show a little bit later. Yesterday was a very, very hectic day. It's still a lot going on, just illness wise, like in the house in general. So I haven't been able to do all of my due diligence when it comes to some of these games, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna be honest and transparent with you guys about that as well. So we'll talk about it as we get into the games, but I got some more digging to do. Let's just keep it like that. I have a play that I made. I got a couple that I got in the chamber, but there is still some digging to do as far as the plays that I'll make for today. Just I like to go back and rewatch the games. I like to run all my comparable numbers and all of that stuff, and I didn't get a chance to do all of it today. But neither here nor there. First game we got up is the Orlando Magic and the Boston Celtics. Let me just double check these lines, make sure that they're accurate. Yeah, they are accurate. So 10.5 is what the Celtics are laying. The consensus for the total is down to 197.5. We saw in game one. Let me just pull up the box score really quickly. We saw in game one a very, very low scoring game. The thing that we got to take into consideration here also is that Jason Tatum is listed as doubtful. That's the big news in this one after falling on his wrist. Can they win without him? Yes. So do they absolutely need him to win? Absolutely not. The spread did come down from 12 down to 10.5. This total reopened at 201. I think game one total was 206. So the total opened 5 points lower, and then it's now down 4 points from that. And I'm honestly still not sure if it's low enough. I still think this game could go under the total. So a couple different things here. If Jason Tatum does not play, in my opinion, it's less offense and another guy for the Boston Celtics that can Jason Tatum can absolutely play defense, but he also, in my opinion, he helps the offense a little bit more. I'm not expecting Orlando to be able to go out here and score the basketball. We said it in game one. Just the way that they play basketball, it's not conducive to beating a team like the Boston Celtics. Orlando is, again, I'll go through the same numbers. They're bottom 5 shooting a 3-point shot. If you're going to beat Boston, it's typically not on the interior. They're not a team that gives up a lot of points in the paint. Real quick, let me just put some numbers to that. So Boston finished this season 4th in opponent rim frequency, 5th in opponent rim accuracy. They just don't give up a lot of points in the paint. But this game will probably be played at a very slow pace. Both of these teams did finish the season, I think, number 1 and number 2 as far as slowest paced teams in the NBA. So I do think that lends itself. I know it's a super low total. I completely get it. The Orlando Magic is a team that runs teams off the 3-point line. Boston only wants to shoot a ton of threes, which is why you see the game go under the other day. And outside of, I know Orlando looked like they were really, really strong. They brought a lot of physicality in game one. But outside of that second quarter, where they kind of dominated Boston in the second quarter, it's really the only good quarter that they had. If you go back and look at it, which I did, you go back and look at the box score. They lost the first quarter by 8. It was 26-18. The second quarter they lost by 8, 31-22, and then after that, Boston was able to hold Orlando to 18 points and 19 points. So I do see Boston playing some defense in this game, trying to match the physicality of the Orlando Magic. Game one finished with 189 points being scored. I absolutely think that it could go under a 197.5 total as well. Yeah, I would say that it goes under. I think the under is a good look here. I'm not expecting Orlando to score the basketball more efficiently than they did in the last game. They shot 42% from the field. They also shot 37% from the 3-point line. I think the 37% from the 3-point line is a little higher than what they typically shoot. Boston also shot 43% from the 3-point line. If anything, that could come crashing down just a tad bit with Orlando forcing them off the 3-point line. The rebounds were about split. The turnovers, Orlando did turn it over 15 times, but I don't think that's something that can't happen again. And points conceded off turnover, they gave up 24 points off turnovers. Boston actually scored 26 points in transition. So that would lend itself maybe as some correction here. Maybe even Boston's not a team that even turns you over that often, but that can lend itself even more towards an under and towards Orlando potentially covering this game as well. But I would bet under before I bet anything in this game. Also, I think jaXon liked Corey Joseph in game one. So let's just take a quick trip over to Outlier. Buckle up, put your seatbelts on, boys and girls. So This is jaXon. It's a I was about to say AI sports betting tool. It's absolutely not an AI sports betting tool. This is Outlier. Outlier is a player prop slash totals research tool that you can utilize. There's a link in the description for new people where you can get a 7-day free trial if you want to sign up. Corey Joe. I'm looking at Corey Joseph in this game today, right? So I would just probably play his points, rebounds, and assists. This is something that I have on my short list. Corey Joseph has gone under. Well, he went under in game 1, finished with just 2 assists, no points, and no rebounds. jaXon, like Corey Joseph in game 1, I am of the mindset that Corey Joseph is gonna do about the same thing that he did in the last game. You can see that, in these most recent matchups, Boston has been really good against guards. And the way that Corey Joseph scores the basketball specifically is not conducive to him having a big game against a team like the Boston Celtics. He gets about 42% of his points, or you could say, pretty much half of his points. As a spot-up shooter, Boston is 5th as far as spot-up defense. He also gets about 24% of his points in transition. Boston is top 5 transition defensive team as well. So, that's 66% of his points, and Boston being, top 5 in both of those defensive categories. I don't like the matchup for Corey Joseph here. You go back and look at his numbers, just in the head-to-head matchups. He hasn't done anything much in these games all season against Boston. So you can see that he's under in all 4 games, including a playoff game as well. So, and if he's not going to be able to score the ball or facilitate, then he probably won't even be on the floor. You can see here that he played just 26 minutes, I think it was. Yeah, 26 minutes in this last game. So I guess that's the way I would look if I'm looking at a player prop. We talked about Derek White in game 1. Couldn't talk anybody off going back to Derek White, especially with Jason Tatum being listed as doubtful. But it's probably not something that I'm going to play. I like to zig and zag with players, so probably won't end up betting him. But that's my thought process on this one. Yeah, that would be my thought process. Let's see. What are you guys thinking? Thompson's Bucks are overmatched. We'll talk about that game later. I did bet game 3 already. Members got to play for game 3 last night. The line has moved already as well. Game 3 for Bucks and Pacers. What up, Prolific? Says Thunder cover again. Yeah, we got a nice little future on the Thunder. Hopefully people were able to catch that. And hopefully we end up cashing it. Let's see. Adam says jaXon on fire. Ken says good morning. Heat team total under 99.5. GLB says, what up, GLB? Hope all is well with you. Bitch says, good morning, Chris. Morning, chat. Boston first half, whole game, Andrew says. What up, Chad? Yeah, Tatum is doubtful. No Tatum, no problem, she says. Chad says he had Grizzlies team total under 106.5 and under 102.5 at plus money last night. What a great night. Like to hear that. Justin says he'll ride with Jaylen Brown. Points, rebounds, and assists over. It kind of makes sense with him doing a lot of the facilitation. Rebounding basketball as well. Somebody's going to have to get the boards. I forgot to mention this, man. And it's something I need to write down. When Jason Tatum comes back, Jason Tatum rebounds. Jason Tatum always gets a lot more rebounds. I'm writing it down now like he's playing. He probably not going to play, but to this comment from Justin, Jason Tatum's going to have to be on the board. He always gets more rebounds in the playoffs. I think his rebounds at 9.5 in the last game. He had 9 going into the game, into the fourth quarter, and he did finish, I think, with 14 boards in that game. So got to make sure we're paying attention to Jason Tatum rebounds, especially when he's playing a team like the Orlando Magic that's bottom 5 and a bottom 3 in offensive rating on the full season. This is a team that's going to miss a bunch of shots. Tatum going to be able to go down there and crash the boards. He's the best rebounder on this Celtics team. So with him potentially not playing, it makes sense that Jaylen Brown could go out there and grab those boards, also facilitate and score some points in this game as well, like Justin says here. Adam says he's on Jaylen Brown to score 25. Let's see. Bonchero, White over their points. Boston minus the 10.5 for Bryant. So I didn't even look into Paolo, but we talked about how good the matchup was for Paolo. And we also talked about how Boston probably wouldn't double. Even if Boston does double, let's say Boston's like, you know what? We want to take Bonchero out the game. Because I was thinking Joe Mazzulla probably wouldn't think that way. He's like, you know what? Let's let Bonchero get his and nobody else do anything at all. Right? That's one, game plan that they can utilize. But the other one is like, let's double Paolo. If we double Paolo, what's going to happen? Who about to kill us from the 3-point line? Nobody. So yeah, Ventura, I think is in a really good matchup either way. What up, Fear Elite? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Michael. Says Grand Rising. He's thinking Brown boards. Good morning, Tariq. Says Porzingis points. What about the Magic team total under? I would just play the full under. I'm not sure the Celtics need to get to their team total, and they didn't in game one. The Celtics team total, I remember it being at 110. They didn't need to get to 110. Today it's at 104.5. I think. Hold on, let me just double check. Today Boston's team total is. Did I get that right? Yeah, 104.5 looks like it's consensus. There's some 103.5 out there as well. I would just play full game under before I play on a team total under here. All right, so that's game one. Game two, Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the game that I didn't get a chance to dive into as much as I wanted to. If we go back real quick and just kind of go through the box score and some of the numbers in game one that kind of stood out. There's a couple of things I'm looking at here, and I guess I'll start with the player prop. We'll actually just go right into matter of fact, let's go back to jaXon. So I asked jaXon this morning for an overview of this game. I said, jaXon, can you provide an overview for the Heat Magic game, Heat versus Cavaliers game today? And I'll just read you guys what jaXon says. jaXon says the Miami Heat Cleveland Cavaliers are set for game two of the first round. Cavs took game one with a strong fourth quarter, powered by the three-man backcourt scoring 85 points combined. The Heat will be looking to bounce back and even the series. So Miami and Cavs tonight, regular season, Cavs went 64-18, first in the West. Recap of game one, the Cavs showcased their offensive firepower in game one, shooting 51% from the field, 42% from behind the three-point line. Their three-man backcourt, Donovan Mitchell, Ty Jerome, and Darius Garland combined for 85 impressive points. Donovan Mitchell's averaging 24 points per game. Mitchell led the team with 30 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. Darius Garland contributed 27 points, 5 rebounds. Ty Jerome, a standout performance with 28 points off the bench, shooting 10 for 15. Don't think that's going to happen again. Evan Mobley had a quiet game with 9.7 rebounds, but he's expected to bounce back in this game. I would immediately be looking at Evan Mobley to bounce back and Ty Jerome to not play as well. I think that's just, kind of common nature. Strengths. Cleveland leads the league in scoring, averaging 122 points per game during the regular season. Home dominance, 34-7 at the crib this season, making Rocket Arena a fortress. Depth. The Cavaliers' rotation is deep and healthy, giving them a significant edge over Miami. The Miami Heat, 37-45, 8th in the Western Conference. The Heat struggled to keep up with the Cleveland Cavaliers' offensive pace, shooting 48.8% from the field, but committing 14 turnovers. They were outscored 34-21 in the fourth quarter, which sealed their fate. Bam led the team with 24 points, 9 boards in game one, but faced consistent pressure from Cavaliers' big men. Tyler Hero added 21 points on 7 for 18 shooting from the field. Davion Mitchell provided 18 points off the bench. Strengths. Miami allowed 110 points per game during the regular season, ranking amongst the best defenses. Resilience. The Heat have shown grit, winning 2 road games in the play-in tournament to secure their play-in spot. All right, I thought that I was almost done. jaXon got a whole lot more. I don't feel like reading the rest of this. All right, so as far as this game goes, like listening to all of that, I think the one thing that kind of stands out to me, jaXon mentioned it a little bit, so we'll go back over to Outlier. The thing that sticks out to me in this game is because I haven't, done my in-depth analysis on like as far as the side. I will tell you guys, I lean Miami. I think that they can cover this 12. I really, really do. jaXon mentioned the big fourth quarter, 34-21. That was something that I had noted as well. But specifically, if we go over and we look towards a player prop, I was trying to find Spoelstra's record in game 2 when he loses game 1, but I couldn't find that record. Specifically though, if we look at what I kind of want to bet on is I kind of want to bet on Davion. This is something that's on my short list for today. Davion Mitchell, points prop is listed at 11.5. I think is the consensus. I think it might be some 12.5s out there as well. 11.5 is plus 102 you could get right now. Look at his last 10 games. So he's seen an uptick in minutes, and I would even factor these games out. I mean, they beat the Pelicans by 49 points in this game. Not sure he needed to play too many minutes. If we come down here, we can see he only played 22 minutes. And then the same thing with the Wizards game, right? I mean, they didn't play him heavy minutes because the game didn't matter. Actually, if you go back and watch the show that I did on the last day, I talked about how Miami was trying to lose this game on purpose for pick protection. And he played just 19 minutes in that game and only had 4 points. So these meaningful games, you can see that he's had 12 points in all of them down the stretch. You can also see, this is big for me right here, 33 minutes per game and it's 9.5 shot attempts. These mean a lot to me. So when I went through and looked at it, right, based on his minutes, with 30 plus minutes this season, and you can see that he's averaging 33, he scored 11 points or more in 8 straight games. And 15 of his last 16 games, he's gone up and over and gotten at least 11 points. He's going to be on the floor to take some of the pressure on the offensive end off of, Tyler Hero from having to run the offense. His assist prop has actually been golden too. Look at this. 9, 9, and 8. He did have a 1-5 assist game in here against Miami, but his assists have been money. Look at this. Potential assists, 15, 13, 20. So I like Davion in this spot. I think outside of his offense, offensive playmaking, which is one of the reasons that's going to keep him on the floor. Also his defense, right? I mean, he's out there to slow down Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Cleveland only plays one way. It's super fast. They like to get up and down the floor, score a bunch of points. And I also looked at the field goal attempts, going back to the field goal attempts. So we go back here. Field goal attempts, you can see this sitting right at about 9.5. He's shooting about 54% from the field. In his last 10 games, he's averaging, like I said, the 9.5. If you just filter this down to 8 plus field goal attempts with the 30 minutes, he's over in 19 of his 23 games. That's 82.6%. So rather than taking a side, I kind of just like Davion to score the basketball here and get to 12. I do think that some of those shots will be there. When I think about the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were a top 10 defense, but it wasn't against guards. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland could absolutely get 8 up. That was more Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So I like Davion in this spot. I think he's a dog. And if I'm betting on, the game, I think I like this player prop more than I like a side or a total. So that's my thought process. I do lean towards Miami. I just, like I said, I gotta look a little bit deeper into it. I don't want to really lay 12 points with the Cavaliers. This line opened at 12.5. It did come down to 12. So that's my thought process. Maybe even them late. I will say this though. The last thing I'll mention is that, the Miami Heat were in a terrible spot, which is why I like their team total under in game 1, under 101. And they still got to 100 points in that game. And they did what I thought that they were going to do because they had 1 day of rest versus the Cleveland Cavaliers who had 6 days of rest. So it makes sense that you fade in that spot. Eric Spoelstra didn't have time to draw up too much of a game plan, blah. Now you have equal rest. And I know that the Thunder got absolutely, Thunder absolutely smoked the Grizzlies yesterday again. But I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen in this matchup, man. I just think that the Thunder are that much better than the Grizzlies, especially given the interim head coach being there as well. So I'm talking a lot, but, I kind of think that Miami's a little bit more better suited to cover this game, especially given that they have, the same amount of rest here. So I got some more digging to do, but lean Miami plus the points. And also like Davion up and over his 11.5 points if I'm playing this. I think you can still get a juice 10.5. I saw this morning as well on FanDuel at like minus 136. So, all right, that's my thought process. Been talking a lot. Need a bottle of water. Can't find one. Swear I bought one in here, but it's all good. I'll just power through the next game. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Ty Jerome over 14.5 for Merrill. What up, Merrill? I feel like I ain't seen you in here in a while. Shavonda says, hey, Chris, glad I made a live show. Richmond here too. Shout out to RVA. Appreciate you for tapping in this morning. Have a great day as well. Adam, you in 804 for real? I did not know that. Okay. You always on the show. I did not know you were in Richmond or somewhere in Central Virginia with an 804 area code. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Merrill also likes Davion over his points and assists at 17.5. Maybe you just put them together. Couldn't talk you off of that at all, Merrill. I like that look a lot. I like those looks a lot for sure. Good morning, Tasha. Appreciate you for tapping in. Coach says Kevin Gates sat front row at the Lakers game last night, had LeBron motivated and balling out. I didn't even know he was front row. I missed that part. Dom says, I feel like these games today will be better to play live. Couldn't talk you off. And it could talk you off heat either early, just in case they do fade. Even though I don't think that they're going to fade as much in this game. Like I said, the game that they played on, whenever they played Saturday, Sunday, I think that was a really terrible spot. I think they played on Sunday. That was a terrible spot for them. Good morning, Light Bear. Ken says, Chris, go get that water, bro. We be right here. Nah, I gotta walk too far to get to a bottle of water. I swear I bought a bottle of water in here though, but it's all good. I hate misplacing stuff too. I got a little OCD, but whatever. All right, let's push through. Next game, we got Warriors and the Rockets. I did bet this one, like one of the perks too. And I never come on here telling you guys, you got to sign up for, for plays and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people not going to sign up no matter what anyway. But this is one that I got to the numbers super early on. I stayed up on, I think it was Sunday when these teams played, Golden State in Houston. And soon as the total opened, I went ahead and took the under. I do think it's the best play on the board in the game. Of course, the number is gone now. So we got to keep in mind of a couple things here. I got 206.5. That number is far gone now. Would I still play it at 203.5? Yeah, but I wouldn't like it as much, of course, being that I got 3 points of value here. It was crazy is I didn't even get the best of the number. I saw this open at 208.5 for just a split second on DraftKings. And the money immediately came in, and by the time I was able to get to it, it was at 206.5. But a couple things here. So Golden State had a very good defensive rating, actually the second best defensive rating that we've seen so far in Game 1. 95.5 was their defensive rating. The Houston Rockets they were in prison. They literally couldn't score the basketball. On Sunday when I did the show with Dream, we talked about like Jalen Green under his points. We talked about how, the pace was probably going to be played really slow. This total opened, I think, 216 in Game 1. And they got bet down to, I don't even remember what it got bet down to, but it closed a lot lower than the actual total. We know that these two teams have now played 3 games this season where neither team has even scored 100 points. So all of that lends itself to an under. Also, the big thing, right, is pace. When we think about the pace that this game was played at, 89. This is the slowest paced game that we've seen so far outside of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. We just saw a lot of really good offense between Cleveland and Miami, pushing that one up and over the total. Both of those teams shot 42% from the three-point line in game number 1, even though it was played at a really slow pace. But this one, Houston and Golden State, 89. Which is very, very similar to Boston and Orlando, which was played at 87. So I guess you could say third slowest pace. But all of these games are, going far, far under the total. I'm watching how Golden State is, defending Houston, and they're doing a really good job of taking away everything that Houston wants to do. On the opposite side, Steph had a very, very marvelous, spectacular game. And we also saw Golden State get absolutely, wrapped up. Like they kind of wrapped Steph up in the game right before the last game of the regular season when these two teams played. So the chippiness, the slow pace, neither team really getting out running in transition. Both teams being really good transition teams, both teams being really good on the offensive and defensive glass. Neither one of these teams giving up a lot of second chance points. Neither one of these teams giving up a lot of points off turnovers, I think lends itself towards an under. I played the total under. As far as the side, I guess a lot of people are thinking zigzag here, right? Like Houston is a pretty good team. They got the second seed in the Western Conference because they play really good defense and they, rebounded the ball well. I'm not quite sure though. We saw zigzag yesterday, right? The Lakers lose game 1 on their home court. They bounce back. They win game 2. And the books are anticipating that to happen in this game as well. We got to keep in mind that, Golden State was a one point dog in game 1. This line reopened with Houston laying 1 point, and now it's up to 3 points. So the sharp money or the big bettors are betting Houston to bounce back in this spot. I'm not quite sure, man. I just think that if Golden State comes in here and plays as hard as they did in game 1, they could absolutely steal game 2. Will they? I'm not sure. But remember one thing I talked about: Golden State has been much better on the road after the All-Star break than they've been at home, and I'm not quite sure why that is. The Warriors have, and I'll put some numbers to that real quick. The Warriors have just been playing a lot better on the road. Do they exhale and let down in this spot? Not quite sure, man. Not quite sure. I don't think it's that easy just to take, the zigzag in this spot. The Warriors are 11-3 straight up. since the All-Star break on the road, 9-5 against the spread. They win by an average of 10 points. They've won 5 games in a row. They've covered all 5 games since the All-Star break. Now at home, they've been 9-4, but only 5-7-1, 9-4 straight up, 5-7-1 against the spread. Still winning by 8 points, but they've lost 3 straight at home. So the Road Warriors are a thing that I'm not really willing to bet against right now. I don't believe in this Houston Rockets offense. I think that they are a really good defensive team, but I'm not a big believer in their offense. So I think the Warriors can absolutely startle them again. Draymond Green trying to get Defensive Player of the Year, being able to slow down Sengun. I just think Golden State got enough offense. We got to keep in mind that Golden State also the best defensive rated team since the All-Star break as well. Let me just double check that, but I'm pretty sure since the All-Star break, they are the best defensive rated team. Let me just double check that real quick. And yes, 109.3 defensive rating. It's only going to get better. And that's a 27-game sample with Jimmy Butler being part of the team. So I know Zigzag says take Houston here. I'm not doing it. I just bet the under. Didn't really look into any of the player props. We fell on a Sir Thompson under his 4.5 assists in the last game. That was heartbreaking because he only had 2 going into the fourth quarter. And then the last 2 that he got, which gave him number 5 and number 6, which made us lose the bet. Both of those made us lose the bet, which came with less than 2 minutes left, and they were already down and weren't going to win the game in the first place. So I stayed off player props in this game, but I just played the under at open at 206.5. Hopefully something I said was helpful for you guys. I am interested to see where Sir's rebound assists are today, though. Probably still sitting at 4.5. I mean, I'm in. I'm sorry. 4.5. It's still juiced to the under though, which is crazy because that's what I bet in the last game. Still juiced to the under, even though he had 6 in game 1, -132. It looks like it's the best number on FanDuel. So I won't be playing any player props. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I absolutely think Golden State can come in here and win 2 games in a row though. That's just my thought process. Let's see. Strus under for Michael, under his rebounds and assists. Jalen Green revenge. I guess. I'm not a Jalen Green guy. That's just not somebody that I like to bet on. I also think Gary Payton II is a very, very good perimeter defender. So, people are screaming Jalen Green in game 1. Could he bounce back? Yes, I guess so. But I would probably put my money on a veteran like Fred VanVleet before I played Jalen Green. That's just my thought. Adam says he's on Houston money line here. Cavs are probably going to still win the game, though, right? Yeah, they should win the game, yeah. But I'm not looking towards the Cavs. Might do Jalen Green under every game. I talked about that, Jabari. I talked about it on Sunday. I didn't bet it. I said if you take him every game, he's probably going to cash. And where is he listed today? He was at 20.5. He's down to 17.5. Jalen Green's been terrible recently. He had a 5-point game against the Clippers. I guess that one don't really matter. He only played 15 minutes. They didn't need him in that game. He scored 7 points against the Lakers in 15 minutes. He scored 2 points against the Denver Nuggets in 21 minutes, and then against Golden State last game, he shot 3 for 15, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line, finished with just 7 points. 3 for 15 is pretty gross. And he also just doesn't do well against the Golden State Warriors. He's only hit the over. Even at 17.5, he's only hit the over 1 game. These teams have played a total of 6 times. He has 7, 14, 12, 9, and 7 in the other game. So I just don't like the matchup against the best defensive team in the league. I know Lover says he likes Jalen Green revenge, and he got a lot of exclamation points behind it. It could happen. I'm just not betting. I'm not betting on Jalen Green. Under or nothing for me. G421 says, what up, Chris? Under's falling right now, and center falling left, right, and center. That being said, give me the under. Okay. Steven Adams over his rebound prop at 5.5 for Jabari. Couldn't talk you off of that look. I could see that happening. Let's see. Chaz says 2 games typically go under. Pacers Bucks. Only game yesterday that didn't go under. I think game 3 goes under, but I didn't bet it. TC Best says, what up, Chris? I'm on Draymond under 13.5 points. Under 13.5 points plus rebounds. Choppy Funk says game 1 and 2, all these series going under. Agreed. It's interesting when teams need to win how nobody's on the injury report and everybody's playing defense. NBA got to do something about it, man. I can't imagine how much money I would make if we had games like this all the time. Man. She says Warriors get it done. Rico says I got the Magic money line and the over on the Cavs game. I know I'm cooked. Okay. Drop it down says thoughts on Rockets first quarter. The Rockets are so up and down. They typically start the game off better. I will give you that, but they're just so up and down. Like they can go on a run, but is it sustainable for a full 48 minutes? And where does it come in the game is what scares me, Dom. Like it could be early and then go to state fight back, but it also could be like third quarter and they still end up losing the game. Like I'm not sure, man. LJ says Warriors 8-0 ATS on the road versus the West. Since Butler joined the team, this might be their last home game for the Rockets. LJ's a Rockets fan, just FYI. Sounds like he likes the Warriors. What up, Peasy? Appreciate you for tapping in. No first quarter leads for myself, Ken. I didn't even look into first quarter markets. I would play Van Fleet, Quincy, before I played Jalen Green. I could be absolutely wrong. That's just my thought process. I also need to go back and see what Udoka and the players said about the game. Threeks is going back to the old stat. Houston first half, like you're in. Okay. All right, cool. We did a pretty good job, I think. And the quick recap is here. Golden State, Houston under the 206.5 is the only thing that I bet so far. Do like the Davion Mitchell, not Donovan Mitchell. You can't get Donovan Mitchell at 11.5 points anyway, not for anything close to, reasonable odds. But Davion Mitchell, 11.5 points is on the short list. Orlando, Boston under. I still would play it at under 197.5. I know it seems gross, makes you feel uncomfortable, but just keep in mind they scored 180-something points in the last one. And both of these teams are the two slowest paced teams. Now you take Tatum out, another offensive facilitator, somebody else that can, just get a bucket. I do think that, Boston finds it a little bit more difficult to score the basketball after scoring a lot of points off turnovers in that last game, something that they typically don't do. And I expect Orlando's defense to be a little bit better from the their 3-point defense to be a little bit better. So under 197.5, and Corey Joseph also to go under as well, under 8.5 points and assists. Keep in mind that jaXon likes the under on Darius Garland, his rebounds and assists at 9.5. And perfect segue to a couple things. Going back, if you want all my plays when I make them, just use that link in the description to sign up, and they'll come to you via email. Resources, going back to jaXon, likes Darius Garland under his rebounds and assists today. But check jaXon out if you're interested. Outlier, I showed you how to use that tool. Money Baller, Odds Jam, all of those things are very, very helpful for handicapping the games. And there may be a special announcement on tomorrow's show as well. Just keep that in mind. May have something cooked up for you guys that may happen this weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button, man. Show some appreciation, some gratitude. I'm always sending it back to y'all. Hope you guys have a great day. Best of luck on whatever it is that you do play. And I will catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.